Thank you for joining. I'm David from the Happening Travel Club, and we're going to be talking about our next 15-minute travel adventure. Um, so I'm going to have Al take over so he can discuss it while I run the slideshow.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to be here. I've been invited by the Travel Club to talk about a new program to be able to focus on a destination, do it in about 15 minutes, and that's why it's called 15-minute travel adventure. The club is going to do many programs like this. So let's just jump right in. First off, Scandinavia. They think that the destination, that's Nashville and the Smokies that like country music, but the destinations in Tennessee are very different than those in Texas. If you're in Boston, the Tea Party and the Massachusetts mentality of the world is very different than that in South Florida, for example, in Miami. And Scandinavia, times I've escorted groups to Scandinavia. I've done interesting things outside of the big capitals, including the Norwegian coastal ice hotel in the world ocean to you. That many, I think this itinerary actually does it. So let's look and jump right in. The trip is called Scandinavia Arctic Circle by Polar Express. Polar Express. Escorted and the Arctic Circle Polar Express train. There's two departures. You can plan for August 25th next year, or if you want to get in early in your planning, you can plan for August 24, almost 2 years from now, August 24, 2027. So it gives you lots of time to plan. It's a 17-day trip, which I think is about right. Anything much shorter than this, you're really pushing leisurely pace that I'm going to talk about. The trip, David, if you could, move for us. It's $171 per day. That includes all the government taxes and fees. I think when you look at some comparisons, especially because of the leisurely paced nature of this trip, it is quite outstanding. For one of these itineraries, there are multiple escorts. That are hired by the travel club. That are experts in various destinations to Peru. So the trip is escorted. David, if we could move on. The trip is all 3-star hotels are included in the stay for $28.99, or if you would like, you can upgrade to 4-star hotels. It's in 4-star. Scandinavian hotels are a little bit different than you experience on the continent, Italy, Spain, etc. They're a little larger in Scandinavia, but not quite to the very important. Because of where you're going to, it is a unique combination of included sightseeing. You'll have specialists. So, for example, if I was on the destination, but in all of the major sightseeing components, the travel club hires a local specialist to do sightseeing. So many times through the trip, you'll actually have the United States and then another that does local sightseeing in the different destinations. For example, we'll have and it also gives you the opportunity to have a nice combination of included sightseeing with free time. I'm personally a big believer of allowing some free time, and an essay in a moment accomplishes that. Throughout the entire trip at the hotel, and then it does most of the to travel on. They're from Sweden, or Volvo is a big producer, or they're from Germany or Belgium, and that's exactly what you'll experience. Highly recommend the train inclusions for in between. They give you a power outlet completely from start to finish. You to use the train is a nice feature and comfortable. Copenhagen is compared to the, and almost everything is Anderson. The Mer is compared to the, and almost everything is Anderson. The Mer, and it is a beautiful. Some people think, oh, it's going to be freezing, and we're into the first and the lows will be in the mid 50s. Also, I into the first and the lows will be in the mid 50s. Also, I recommend, and this is much dry, which is really nice. That anytime you look at a tour, Gateway, 1 night and 2 night stays. Then you move on from. It is a city where you're going to. It's my favorite place in Scandinavia. Upper left-hand corner, Harbor City. Scandinavia is a country that are 400 years old, very old. I'm in Stockholm. Through this Keynes. Oslo, this is the most of oil money, of oil. And here in Norway, you do the land of Vikings. Of course, really stay. From Oslo, capitals. Copenhagen's capital of Denmark, Stockholm, capital of Sweden, Oslo, the capital of Norway. Now we head north. And what we do traveling north, we go to Trondheim. And Trondheim is very famous because you're traveling across a gigantic glacier valley. Of the Glacier Valley. There were people think that when this is a very modern city, it is a very clean city. There's lots of great restaurants, attractions, sightseeing is included here in Trondheim. This is the largest city. Then you'll continue what you're going to do. Darren, can you help me with the sound, please? Across the Arctic Circle, and you go to Bodo. Now, understand where you're at. Venture no, Alaska, 100 miles farther and 50 miles farther north than the world above the Arctic Circle. Do right adjacent 2 nights. Again, comprehensive sightseeing. I've already messaged here today. I'll be quite candid with you. In less time to see it, you have to be. We're in the transition period where there's still opportunity for the northern lights. Scenically, the most very famous, it's a UNESCO World Heritage of the Cannery. Right on the fjord, you see it, another good picture. The mythology as being the land of Noah. It is the setting in Bergen that they are talking about in that movie and showing you. It is also famous for the fjords. That upper left-hand picture, that from mountaintop to water level is between 4,000 and 5,000 feet. It is similar to the experience at the Grand Canyon, spectacular. The only of Bergen, quite beautiful. To then 5 trains are included, so close together. The first train is the one's train of the year by the 170 miles an hour, but most of them is very fast. But it does. The train travels. This train in your car, and I told you access to the bistro restaurant, Copenhagen to Stockholm, 3,000. Not as glamorous Swedish and Norwegian capital, but trains. There's no night trains. You can train as the Dovre Railway and travel through Lillehammer, which was famous a decade ago. And on this spectacular, in those 2 pictures, scenery, these are valley trains. So the shorter trip from Oslo to the Arctic city of Trondheim, it's about 4.5 hours. The fourth is the most famous. Polar Express is the Arctic Circle. There's a celebration on the train. You will have varied sightseeing on this train, which includes mountains. It'll include, I have seen this myself personally, been able to see herds of reindeer on this train journey, especially just south of the Polar Express. Then the Bergland in the fjords, you'll be traveling west to Eastern train, where you will see, and we included a picture of it. This is it's a late summer, early fall picture because of how high it is. It is spectacular in its mountains, and you have outstanding opportunities for the fjords. People have already asked in the announcement of this about the famous Flam Railroad. That's not included in these 5 trains, Cog train. And in Flam, and take called Norway in a Scandic Fjords cruise. By the way, on the Flam, from motor coach to all 5, $349 first class embracement. You're closer to the bistro car. It's quite luxurious for transportation. This is mass transportation for the Scandinavians, but it's quite outstanding. And dollars for first class, 140 even leave the United States and your seat, so you'll know that. So last, in terms of, then we fly on day 17 from Oslo back to the United States. This trip is really affordable for all. Honestly, I'm very impressed that the Travel Club accomplished this level of quality for the monthly payment program of $99. You pay no interest for that. And it's done to make this trip affordable for anyone that would really like to make this a once-in-a-lifetime experience to Scandinavia. There, David's done the link on the Arctic Circle. You can go to happening.travel and go to the page on this, and you can see. And there's a very good video on the trip that tells you lots of details and shows you about 100. You can look at that. So that is the Scandinavian Arctic Circle by Polar Express train. I apologize. I've gone 15 minutes of the travel. Any questions? I'm happy to help, or the trip, I'm happy to help.
At the bottom, or you can ask them. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can just type out your questions and let us know if you have any.
It has the ellipse of like a, so whatever you'd like to do. Anybody have any questions that I can help them? Okay, well, if there are no questions, we're going to wrap up. The one last thing that I would has created is Scandinavia is not an inexpensive destination. For European trips, it's a good. The vast majority of Americans and North Americans that go to Scandinavia only do it one time. So this is probably make sure you look carefully. Value is a difficult proposition for Scandinavia because it is a more expensive destination in Europe. For 3-star and especially 4-star hotels for the train or for the trip, and then the train option, all being able to pre-plan. That's one, because those are a real important consideration. I do not recommend travel in May, even. If you're looking at going to Scandinavia, I really think it is June, July, August, and September, unless you have specific kinds of interest. If you want to see the aurora and pretty much guarantee yourself by being in the Arctic region long enough to ensure a cloudy night is prevented, etc. You've got to really count on that later in the fall, and of course in the winter if you want to go. But the disadvantages of the spring and the later fall and into the winter is weather becomes problematic. If you like the weather, then that's great. But if you don't like looking at, a lot of people also Anchorage and Denali National Park. The same is true for Scandinavia. So as a result, it's another reason why I think that they